Onegaishimasu. Let's start with Zazen. A chance to clear the mind and relax the body. Remember what weight underside is? Let all the weight drift down, just like water runs down glass. Let your tensions and your weight drift down through your body to settle at the lowest points. Feel the weight of your body collect right underside here where you contact the floor. And that lets everything above open and relax and release, including the abdomen. Abdomen releases, relaxes. And then this area will move with your breathing. So we turn our attention inward to notice our body, notice the feelings, allow the body to relax. So focusing the mind, relaxing the body. Using the out breath to help us relax even more. Each time we exhale, we can release more tension on that out breath. Okay, so Senpai Odin, if you'll come forward and lead us in 2 different warm-up moves. Onegaishimasu. Oh, okay, Senpai silent, that's fine. Arigato. Okay, Senpai Titus. Senpai Titus, how about one more? Arigato. Senpai Odin, onegaishimasu. Arigato. Hip circles. Shoulder rolls. Other way. Okay, arching. Have a nice long stance, so you have a nice stretch in the hips and legs. Forward, stretching down. Knee down, push the hips forward. Then arch from there. And straighten that leg again, stretch the leg. Then foot down again, come down inside that knee. Then roll forward on that foot. Hips press down to the floor. And arching from there. Good. Other side. Nice long stance. Nice good arch, breathing continuous throughout. And big reach forward and down. From the knee, press the hips. Arch. Back of the leg. Inside the leg. And roll over the foot. Press the hips down to the floor. And arching from there. And coming up. Let's just do a little bit more of the arm swings to make sure we get our shoulders warm up, because we'll be doing strikes again today. So shift the weight, turn the hips, and relax those arms and shoulders. Okay, Senpai, let's see a wider horse stance. So you might have to stagger your line, have room. Use those legs and hips. Relax those shoulders. Good. Now, using your legs, press into the ground. Swing your arms in front. Let those arms swing relaxed. And then really press into the ground to pop those arms up into a full circle. Really warming up those shoulders. And then circles the other way. It's coming from the action in the legs. So the shoulders are not doing it. The arms are not doing this at all. It's from the legs pressing into the ground. Good. And relax with gravity. Long stance again. Arm swing here. So vertical arm swing. That's it. Nice and relaxed. Use those legs. Press into the ground. Other side. Good. Now, before we get to going over, reviewing some of the palmeo strike, and then going a little forward with the strikes. Let's do another technique that's in your program. That's listed in the program after the strikes. That's Ushiro Teitori, grabbing from behind. Ushiro, rear. Ryo Te, so both wrists. All you guys have done this before. So we're going to do Sayuendo to the partner behind. And you know what? I think we're going to have you guys actually do it with each other. But let's do it in the air first. Okay, so let's face the same direction. And imagine someone comes up to grab your wrists. You guys, I'm sure, will remember this. We have to make sure that we get the hands back in front of our hips because, of course, we've got very little strength back here. Certainly not enough that can compete with their strength when they're there. So we need to get the arms in front. And we're probably not strong enough to bring them in front. So I bring the hips back. So here my arms behind me. I simply put my hips back or even step back a bit. And now my hands are in front of my hips. So we go from here to here. So wrists are grab, hips back, and then do this with me. Your left leg is going to step behind them. Your left leg goes behind their leg. So that's a potential trip there. And then we do Sayuendo. Let your elbow lead the way. Sayuendo. And your partner would do either a back break fall or a side break fall. I think you remember this. Let's do that same side a couple times. So standing normal. Your wrists are grabbed. Get your hips back. Big step back with your left leg. Behind your partner. Big weight shift. Big hip turn. Sayuendo. Yeah, you should be doing it with me, guys. Once more. Wrists are grabbed. Hips back. You might even have to move back. Big step around and behind. Big weight shift, big hip turn. Let's see a nice big Sayuendo, guys. Okay, we got to do that again because I'm not really seeing you guys on board here. Let's see you do the movement. Let's see all that good training being visible. Nice, good posture, good extension, good shape, good footwork. So one more on the side. Wrists are grab, hips back, big step around them and behind them, big Sayuendo. That's looking a little better. Let's do the other side. Okay, wrists are grab, get your hips back so your hands are in front of your hips. Right leg steps around and behind them, big weight shift. That's right, Odin. Now remember, when we're doing Sayuendo, when we're throwing them, that's not coming from the arms. It's not coming from the upper body. It's the big step and the big weight shift and hip turn. It's your whole body movement, especially your legs and hips. So it's not this part that's doing the throw. Really what's doing the throw is a big step, big weight shift, big hip turn, right? Weight shift, hip turn is really what's doing the throw. And the arms are just an extension of your body. Your arms are just a movement that your body's doing. So the real throw is that big placement of your body, weight shift, hip turn, right? So remember, so don't try to think that you're trying to throw them with your Sayuendo with your arm. You're throwing them with your placement and your weight shift and your hip turn. Okay, so here we go. Wrists are grab, get your hips back so your hands stay in front. Right leg steps around and behind them, big weight shift, big hip turn. So probably, you can see my feet, when you do that weight shift and hip turn, your feet will probably want to turn to get more weight shift and more hip turn. So you see my feet there? Watch the move. Basically a little a little tenkai, right? Little tenkai. If I really shift my weight and really turn my hips, my feet are going to want to turn so I can get my body in even more movement. So when you do that sayuendo, watch my feet. Your feet should want to turn like that so you can get more movement. Okay, so keep that in mind when you do the sayuendo. Your feet should be moving, turning, a little mini tenkai to get more of a hip turn. Okay, hips back. Big step back and around with your right leg. Big weight shift. Check your feet. Did they turn a bit? And once more, senpai. Hips down and back. Big step around and back. Big weight shift, hip turn. Okay. I'm pretty sure you guys remember doing this with each other. Yeah. So let's have a look. Let's have two of you pair up and face sideways to the camera. Okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead. Good. Now face the camera and come close enough to the camera that Titus has room to do an ukemi, either a side break fall or back break fall, or might even be a back roll. It's up to uke. So if you have enough room, you're going to throw your partner. Very good. Both of you, very good. So let's see the other side once again. Other side now. Good job, Siler. Okay, Titus and Siler switch turns. So Titus is nage, Siler is uke. Take your time, get all the steps really clear. That's right. Now remember, Titus, both arms go in the same direction. It looked like you had just one arm doing it and the other arm didn't know where to go. So the other arm does the same thing. It just can't reach as far because it's on the other side of the body, of course. But everything's working together. So when you do your sayuendo, both arms are moving. It's like the elbow goes under their chin and this hand goes to their solar plexus, if you can reach. Both equal from both hips. Okay, let's see that same side again, please. Okay, that was interesting. That's a different way of doing it, actually. So let me show you what happened. That's not wrong, but you might need to step behind them before you can actually throw them. So you turn like that, but you didn't have the step behind. If you're able just to turn, then that's good. If you can get out just by turning like that, using your hips and your elbow towards their face, that might be enough to move them and to escape. If it's not, I get stuck here, I step behind them to trip them. So that's what we're doing with this technique, is you're going to step back behind them. So now they're going to trip over this leg when you do your sayuendo. Okay, dozo. There you go. Good. And so lost your balance there a little bit, right? So you need to shift your weight, a stronger weight shift for the throw, and knees bent to help keep your balance a bit more. So a big weight shift. Deep horse stance. Okay, let's see the same side. Dozo. Oh, nice. So that was far better. Very nice, Titus. Let's see the other side. Good, you're getting this side right away. Let's do one more on that side, Titus. I like how you kept your extension there for a little while after. Okay, let's see that side again. That was a nice setup. So Titus, I like how you took the time to get your leg way behind them. You took your time to get that nice and clear and strongly in place. And then you shifted the weight, turned the hips. That was very, very good. Now, before we have Odin up as Nage, let me ask you a question. Let's say your partner's holding your wrist quite strong, or they're just very, very strong. So let me show you from the front. So I get my hips back. So everything's in front of my center. I step behind them. So let's say they're holding my wrist, right? Let's say they're really strong. If I'm having trouble getting my arm up to throw them, Sayuendo, what are some things that I can do that makes it easier to work through and move through their strength? What are one or two things I could do? Nothing extra, it should be already happening. But what are one or two things that I could really emphasize, especially if they're quite strong? So I want you to think about that. Let me know what your ideas are. So I get behind and whoa, they're strong. What can I really emphasize? You might think of one thing, you might think of two things. I've got two things in mind. Let's see if you can think of at least one of them that can help you throw them or get your arm to their throat or face, even if they're really strong.
You can use your hips a lot.
Excellent, Titus. So use your hips more. Use your hips more. Yes, that was one of the two things I had in mind. Excellent. So it just means you have to use your hips more. That's where your power is. So you get stuck, they're really strong. Try to use your hips even more. Now, give you a little hint with the other idea I have. Use my hips to drive what? Use my hips to move what? Use my hips to drive what? What part of my body are my hips really going to drive? Think of what you're doing to the person behind you. Think of where you're going to the person behind you, what part of their body. Your hips can drive what even stronger. If you use your hips even stronger, like Titus said, stronger to move what? Stronger to do what? Stronger to drive what part of your body besides just your hips? This is very martial.
You can bend your knees more.
That's always a great idea. Okay, so that's fantastic. Bending your knees will also allow you to get more power to your hip turn, but also drops your center of gravity, gets your balance even closer to the ground, makes you even more stable, makes you even more strong. That's excellent. So now there's three things actually we could do to increase, if we need to increase our power if they're very strong. So what part of your body what part of your body is driven even stronger, even though your partner is holding on strong? What part of your body can you use from the hips, from those bent knees? Where's Sayuendo going? To your partner. Where is it going to the person behind you? Let's get Seiler and Odin on the screen too. Looks like Titus is all alone. And I want Seiler and Odin to think about this as well. So Titus is giving two really, really good answers. If there's another piece that we could include that's actually made more powerful because of Titus's ideas, stronger hip movement, even more bent knees, or even more stable and connected to the ground so that we're less liable to fall, and also we can get more power from the ground. So all of that can drive what? Can drive what into the person behind you? Elbow. So if you imagine, you don't even have to think about this hand here. Don't even have to think about this one right now. Let's say someone's really holding this one down. They're either really heavy or really strong. And I can't do Sayuendo, which is a really kind of big open shape, right? I might have trouble doing this. So what I can do is lead with the elbow. And then it can unfold, perhaps towards the end. So that could potentially be an elbow strike, which is extremely hard weapon. But I'm not really talking about doing an elbow strike. It might turn into that, especially if they let go. It might snap into their head or face area if they let go. My point is, it can be hard to move that whole length. It's easier, especially when they're really strong, to come with one point. You come with one point, the elbow point, and that changes their grip. If you can imagine, let's say this is their hand grabbing me. This is their hand grabbing me from behind. If I try to keep my arm out like Minucci and Sayuendo like this, that could be hard to do. And my hips will have the strength to do it, and my legs will have the strength to do it, but my arm may not be able to stay with the strength of my hips and legs. But if I bend my arm and I make all that power from my legs and hips go through my elbow point, it'll be hard for them to hold on, and my elbow is more easily able to go to them because I'm not having to go through my whole long arm just from my hips to my elbow. That's much easier to drive the power from hips to elbow. That's easier than driving the power through a whole long arm all the way out here just to the elbow. So if you ever get in trouble and you having trouble doing this, you just go more to the elbow point and they won't be able to stop you. In fact, you will have to be careful that it doesn't snap into their face and head. So if I get into trouble here, just make the elbow point more pronounced, and have the hips drive that elbow point. Make sense? Okay, so Senpai Odin, if you'll come up, Binage, and then, Senpai Seiler, why don't you be the uke? Yeah, you can start that way, you bet. Good. Now do that facing the camera. So that's a good finish. I like that. Let's see one towards the camera facing here so I can see from a different angle. And other side, please. That's a good finish. Okay, good job, Odin. Okay, fellas, let's line up and we'll do some palm heel strikes. So that was Ushiro, Ryotetori, Sayuendo. Okay, let's go back to review. For stance, let's see you do this. Shift the weight, turn the hips. Good. Palms up at the ribs. Slow starting. Let me see your form. Yes. So Titus, that's very, very accurate. You're going right to your center line. And Siler and Odin, shift your weight more. Shift the weight, turn the hips, shift the weight, turn. That's right, Siler. That's excellent. Now, Siler, make sure you're straight with your strikes. Siler, you're kind of getting a little bit wayward with your strikes. So right to your center line, right to your center line. So not over here and over there, straight to the front. Keep going, guys. And Odin, bend those knees more. The Titus, you have really good shape, really good form. And Titus, you're extremely accurate. It's very sharp. Also, Titus has his elbow nice and tucked in. It's nice and straight behind his hand. Keep going so I can see you really, really good here. You might want to pick a spot on the wall and do your palm heel towards that spot. Titus is already doing that. He's already very accurate. Try to have your hands going to the same place. So Siler, that's better. Okay, good. Ready stance. Hands up in a guard position. Elbows protecting the ribs and solar plexus. Hands protecting the head, face, and jaw. And we're just going to do front side, which is a jab, slowly. I turn the hips. Push off the back heel, as always, right? Other hand stays here, protecting the jaw, back. So we're going to start slow. Let's do this together. Ready? Make sure your shape is good with your hands. Striking with the very bottom of the palm. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rok. Sich. Hach. Okay, that's very good, Titus. Siler, that's looking nice and tight here. That's good. Your strike's getting nice and sharp. Other side. Let's see your ready position first. Each. Knee. Straight in front of you. San. Shi. Bo. Rok. Sich. Hach. Switch stance. Back arm. Push off that back heel. And turn the hips the other way. Now I turn the hips the other way. Comes back. The other hand stays there in protection mode. Each. Knee. Bend your knees. San. Shi. Ho. Rok. Sich. Hach. Keep your hands up. Switch your stance. Each. Knee. Breathe out when you strike. San. Shi. Ho. Rok. Sich. Hach. Good. Switch stance. 1, 2, 3 combination. So that's going to be lead hand, rear hand, lead hand. That's going to be lead hand, rear hand, lead hand. It's all from the hips and legs. So on one count, it's 3 strikes. We're not going hard and fast. We're working form, extension, and accuracy. Each. Knee. From the legs and hips. San. Shi. Ho. Rope. Okay, now let's do a couple where just do 1, 2. Lead hand, rear hand. So 2 strikes on 1 count. Lead hand, rear hand to really focus on turning the hips. Each. Knee. San. Shi. Ho. Keep your hands up, switch your feet. We'll do 2 strikes on this side. Lead hand, rear hand. Each. Knee. San. How much hip turn can you get? Shi. Oh. Rok. Okay, now 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be lead hand, lead hand. All on 1 count. Not in a hurry. We want to do everything right. And cover ourselves. Each. Knee. San. Shi. Okay, from all of you, we need to see more hip turn. Let me show you what I'm seeing. Because you're thinking of 3 strikes, 1, 2, 3. What I'm seeing is just the arms. I'm seeing, so you're not taking the time to get the whole body involved. In fact, this is the root, this is the core. This is not the main thing. Just like when we talked about Sayuendo, I'm going to step big behind them, big weight shift, big hip turn. It's not about the arm. It's the same with striking. It's about your legs and hips, your core. That power is going to move through your arms. So you guys are not moving your hips hardly, you're doing something like that. Now, that might be fast, but there's no power there. No power. So that's why we spend so much time going slow and careful to train the body to always move as one whole unit, one whole piece, not just the arms. Everything is here. All the training that we always do and everything we do. So I put that into my strikes. I'm going to do 3 strikes. Don't really watch my arms. You can see my hands easily. So don't look right at my hands. Watch my hips. Watch. Turn, turn, turn. Turn, turn, turn. This is your power, not this. Turn, turn, turn. Okay, let's see that. Ready? Each. Take your time. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Siler, that's way better. Rope. Sich. Hutch. Odin, you're getting more hip turn there. That's good. Switch stance. 3 strikes. Take your time to get full hip turn. Take your time. Each. Ni. San. Odin, that is good hip turn. That's very good. Shi. That's it, Titus. Go. Yeah, everybody's looking good now. Rok. Sich. Hutch. Ku. Ju. Okay, that's a good one to end on because all 3 of you now are employing those hips. Even when you're going faster with your strikes, doing it with the hips. Sourcing it from here, legs and hips. Very good. Okay, misogi. Our misogi is also sourced from our core. Our breathing, sourced from our middle. Our breathing is also sourced from our core, from our center. Breathing in, we expand out from our center, from our core. Breathe out, we settle back, relax back into our center, our core. Breathing in and settling back. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Expanding the center, relaxing the center. Breathing in and up, come up on your toes. Breathe out, bend your knees. Good. Now, holding your center, breathe in, come up on your toes. Breathe out, sink into the ground. Breathe in, it's like you're pulling energy from the earth. Breathe out, you're sending it back very strongly. Pulling it from deep, deep in the earth, sending it way back deep, back down. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Sideways again, open up your chest, breathing in. Open up your back, breathing out. Expand your chest, breathing in. Expand your back, breathing out. And hand at the center. Breathe relaxed in the belly. Let your weight enter your feet. Let your upper body be relaxed and open. Big long breath in through the nose. Out breath through the mouth. Release your hands. Let them swing a little bit. Feel your belly relaxed. Feel your arms hang heavy and relaxed. Feel your weight in your legs and feet. Nice, good belly breathing. Okay, let's bow out. Onegaishimasu. Domo arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much, Senpai. Practice at home.